Hello again, everybody. One thing that Advance Wars 2 does very well is have many unique puzzle missions. The 3 remaining Yellow Comet missions are all puzzles, but they're quite distinct in feel from one another. The one I'll be tackling today, called Foul Play, is now one of my favorite missions. It wasn't always, I used to quite dislike it, but it's very unique in its setup and really encourages a lot of creativity. The approach I'll be showing you today is, I think, groundbreaking and very, very strong compared to most strategies that I've seen people try. I guess Yellow Comet would abandon the other nations and leave them to fight on alone. I suppose they don't formally ally until the next game. Still seems like a short-sighted policy. Sonya's going to be right about something here. I don't think that's a spoiler because of course we know there's a battle coming up here, otherwise it wouldn't be a mission. There's probably a smarter way to do this, like phone calls, or telegrams, or carrier pigeons, or sending an ambassador. What's happening here is kind of hard to understand because of course the game has no animations, and when we see the map it won't really make much sense either. Kind of less and less the more you think about it. But I guess we're carrying out like a conversation in person that may be shouting distance here because we can't tell that that's just a dummy, so we must not be close up to it. Or a robot or something maybe, who knows. Of course, Kanbei is a dummy, and nobody seems to recognize that, so maybe that's the problem. So, luckily I guess, even though all the COs were gathered here in person right there when the bomb went off, they're all totally unharmed or something apparently. Yep, not only did we survive, we are all just fine. Not only are the COs not even making as much of a fuss as they did when Sonya fell down, but our units aren't even damaged. All this chatter about pipes would make more sense if we could see the map, of course. Typical Adder, proudly perfidious in every way. I don't really even understand if our COs are supposed to be in the HQ or something at this point. I mean, I guess not, because we don't have a problem escaping if Adder actually captures it. We can just try again with no difficulty. So, as you can see, Adder has a gigantic army up north. Bit of a repeat of our lesson that we learned from Orange Star's factory mission, but oh well. And once again, Sensei is in command. As I mentioned last time, even on these missions that are tailor-made for Sensei, Kanbei would still be a better choice if we could. I assume this is again kind of a reference to Super Famicom Wars, where Yamamoto, which was Sensei's Japanese name, was an Ultra CO or something. Luckily, Sensei is an expert on the morale of the Black Hole Army. So let's take a look at this cool map. So the enemy has a very big land army, but they're pretty weak against air units as you can see, just one anti-air and a missile. Because we're playing as Sensei, not Kanbei, we have no units that can possibly instant kill those mini cannons. We have some odd isolated cities over here in the northeast. Lightly defended by enemy troops, but they're near missiles, so if we use Sensei's CO power to spawn infantry there, we can launch missiles like Adder's giant army. And if we can take the airport over here, we can build bombers and backdoor Adder's mini cannons. Down here in the south, Adder has a second moderately large army that will come at you in several waves usually. That mech actually will make a run backward toward the missile silos. We better not allow that because we have our own giant army over here to protect. Mostly air units, which is good. Since his bombers are just standard, his battlecopters are very strong, but still not as useful as bombers, and his T-copters move further. But these air units are blocked off by a lot of pipes. It will take Sensei bombers 8 turns to break down the pipes, 2 turns each for the 4 pipe seams. So the intention is that we hold the line for more than 8 turns while we deploy our bombers through. We have a few units here, we have choke points, but they're not perfect choke points. We can't step forward onto this force because his minicannons will shell us there, so we have to block off 2 spaces instead. It's pretty tricky, but very cool to hold the line like that. But as usual, I scorn playing defense. Forget all that stuff. Down in the south, I'll just make the obvious moves, running most of my planes up toward the pipe. I've always been confused about how in the world their armies became separated by all these pipes anyway. Maybe the bomb was a pipe bomb, and it sprayed all these pipes everywhere. I'll have one infantry work in these southern cities for a little bit of money. I'm actually not going to build an infantry from the nearby base there. I will save that 1,000 gold. That will turn out to be crucial. Now, I've said before that it's usually bad to run your infantry back toward the transports. But in this case, the transports can already reach the destination this turn regardless, so might as well just go ahead and do that. There are enough cities and bases and whatnot around the map that if you play intelligently and are good with your defense, you can get a lot of income from them and use that to hold off Adder. You've probably noticed, by the way, that the enemy does have anti-airs in the eastern armies here, but there's only 2 of them. We have so many bombers that won't even bother us. In fact, one thing I've tried is deliberately sacrificing one of my bombers, letting their anti-airs hit it to fill up my CO gauge faster. Okay, so normally you'd run your troops out to these choke points to get in position and stop the enemy, but I'm not going to do that. Playing defense is lame. Fire away. We're going to work on the pipe from this side. Since his artillery are pretty bad at destroying pipes, but they're still the best unit he has available for the job, so I'll get another one of those and a mech too. And with that, I think I should be good to end my turn. So Adder will take a few turns to arrive, and while he's working on that, I'll break down the pipe scenes and have time to get back in position to stop him, if I move carefully. It does take some strategy and some forethought to build the right units at the right time, but it's pretty much the perfect approach, I believe. So many units to move. So he aggressively charges his anti-air right into range of all my bombers. I have, as I mentioned, sometimes let him take a shot at one of them to build up my CO power gauge faster. It's okay either way. The trade-off basically is being down one bomber for the rest of the mission, but in exchange I can get infantry out here from these cities almost immediately, grab those missiles and launch them before his army even gets to me. Which is really crippling to him while they're all so clustered up so badly. So I could have this MD tank attack the pipe, but that would probably be overkill. Instead I think I'll run it to a middle position where it can help either the right or the left depending on how Adder moves his forces. The tank will suffice to break down the pipe, which allows the artillery to just run right into the breach, and then they'll be in position to break down the next two pipe seams next turn. And now you can see why it was important that I saved that 1,000 gold last turn and not build an infantry. I can now afford myself a tank and an artillery, which will both be crucial in the coming turns. Getting key units into good positions was more important than having that extra couple thousand gold in the future would have been. This time I will not go with the strategy of letting him damage my bomber, I will just fly up and blow him away. If I'm lucky I won't even take 1 point of damage in return, but we'll see how this goes. Mediocre luck. That's fine though. I'll finish him off with this rear battlecopter, so I can be maximally efficient with my movement. Managing Adder's CO power is very important on this mission. He can surprise you with a lot of fast movement if you're not being careful. I'd like to make him use his CO power this turn because it will pretty much just be a waste. In a perfect world, I push him just like 1/2 star over his minimum for the CO power, and he'll use it and just waste that 1/2 star. I should talk about that mechanic a little bit in the future. Maybe I'll have time on this mission. Okay, he's got his CO power, he won't really be wasting much, but that's okay. Alright, I'll fly up and start bombing away here. No one else can really do anything very effective this turn. Since his battlecopters are actually more damaging than bombers at taking out enemy infantry, instant killing off of planes is really useful. For my strategy, I want to have most of my troops going through the pipe seams, but I should have some at least rampaging along on the southeastern front. For one thing, I want to make sure that I'm the one who gets to use the missile over there. Fighting over there will also help me build up my superpower gauge faster too, which will be very valuable. I'll do some captures for a bit of money. It is a shame that I can't really be capturing these nearby cities very quickly, but it's worth it. Income doesn't really matter to me much in this mission, so I'll mostly just have my Teacuppers get infantry over to things like missiles or stuff like that. Alright, I end my turn. So he'll use his CO power, but it's basically harmless this turn, so I'm happy about that. He doesn't really get to use the movement to get anything important into position or to attack anybody. Even the minor 10% defense bonus won't really matter this turn because I won't be doing any important attacks. One thing I have tried, by the way, is blocking his anti-air in the east out and just stonewalling out of the city. I think though that I'd rather choose not to block it and let it come in where I can kill it easily. So by all means, Adder, run your anti-air into range of my MD tank and I will happily blow it up for you. The downside is, depending on his timing, he might build himself a new anti-air, which then will guard his mini-cannons pretty well, but we'll see. Perfect. He walked himself right next to that city, so I can walk up and use that terrain bonus and get a great shot at him. One thing worth noting, by the way, is that Adder gets a lot more benefit from using mechs than most COs do. The main thing that really limits and hampers mechs is that they only have 2 spaces of movement, but Adder can boost that to 3 spaces or even 4 spaces very often with his short CO power gauge. It's not like he's amazing with them, he just kind of gets relatively more of a benefit with them than with many other units. So, my turn again. I should decide whether to have a fresh bomber or the injured one attack his anti-air. It'd be nice to be able to bring 4 fresh bombers up to the main front instead of 3 and 1 injured one. But on the other hand, attacking with an already injured bomber will make me take even more injuries. While I think about it though, I'll just start blasting these 2 pipes with my artillery, make sure I don't misclick that one. It's movement efficient to have this one fly in and finish off that injured pipe. And that allows me to fly this bomber all the way in here, ready to help out. So that is fantastic. Way before I think the designers realized I could actually have bombers in here. I'll use my T-Copter to drop an infantry off to capture the airport in the middle there. They will slow down my B-Copters a bit. Maybe not worth it, we'll see. I think I'll use this T-copter to bring infantry along for the ride into the main front. Another blocker there could be handy. You know, I'm rethinking things in the south here. I might just go for the easy income from the city, and then build new infantry and have the T-copter transport that to capture either the airport or the missile silo, depending on how things look. Well, I will be using a fresh bomber to attack the anti-air here. Because of his CO power defense bonuses, I won't have a chance of taking no damage here. I'm guaranteed to take at least one, but that's okay. This front doesn't really matter anyway. I don't need to be instant killing things over here. I can have a B-copter finish off the anti-air so it doesn't cause any further trouble. And then I'll want to make sure that I have a B-copter chase down their mech so it doesn't get to the missile. Looks like he is several turns away from the missile, so it's not an immediate problem. Looks like his tank can just barely hit my new infantry, which would slow me down a little bit. I could just attack his tank with my battlecopter, of course. Although come to think of it, if I use my CO power I can do even more damage to him. That would also let me get infantry over there to start launching missiles faster than if I'd waited for mechs. I think I'm actually going to do that. I'm going to use my CO power now. The generic plus 10% defense bonus it gives will be pretty helpful to my guys in the main front too. Remember, that stacks additively with all my good terrain bonuses from things like cities and mountains this turn. So we get a bunch of 9 HP infantry. Not great fighters, not great capturers, but they'll be good enough. There's no real benefit and no real downside to just attacking his missile over here with my infantry. This is another show of how bad missiles are. He's using his CO power and he's on a property, but even an infantry can still put pretty decent damage on him. And I can really do a number on his rockets, so I'll do that. He's not even getting any CO power buildup because you get none while you've used your CO power like he has. He's got one tank there, which I can't really deal with very well, but it can't kill them all. It can critically wound them one by one, but it can't really kill any of them unless I don't join. I could even just try shooting at him and hoping for good luck bonuses to scratch him down. But right now he has terrain bonuses and whatnot that will reduce my luck damage, so I don't think it's worth it. Instead, I'll just have my infantry walk over toward the missiles and be ready to launch them next turn. I don't stand next to the missiles because I don't want to tempt him to driving his tank onto a missile silo, blocking it to shoot at me. Well, with my CO power bonus, my damage against his tank went up even higher. As a post-commentary note, by the way, I probably shouldn't have bothered fighting that tank with my battlecopter. I probably should have just had it fly after the main bomber group. Well, up on the main front, I can make a hilariously economical defense by just leaving my infantry at 9 HP on the city to block his MD tank, which leaves my MD tank free to just blast away at his anti-air. Might as well do that from the planes, just to make sure it doesn't put too much scratch damage on me. Once again, because he used his CO power before, he's not getting any CO power buildup this turn, so I'm getting a lot of free damage on him, basically. I'm not gaining any myself, but that doesn't really matter. I've got everything that I need. So I will finish off his anti-air. I am doing way better than I think they anticipated was possible in this mission. I'll put my artillery over there, so that when their MD tank makes a stupid attack against my infantry, it'll get blasted in exchange. Now, the western defense is a little bit trickier. I think it would benefit me to just put this 9 HP infantry over onto the wood in the west. He isn't a great fighter, but he's a very cost-effective wall. Nothing can instant kill him. That would leave my tank able to drive up onto the city and shoot him from there. Let me check that he can't bring up an MD tank or Neo tank of his own to counterattack me. Nope, subtracting out his movement bonus they won't have next turn, he can't do that. He can't attack me. So even though my Sensei tanks are pretty bad, I've got first strike, I have a city bonus, so I'll come out ahead on this engagement. Much of my damage will get repaired anyway. And that will then allow my mech to just walk up onto the mountain and blow his tank away. Of course, that means that mech can be shot at from multiple sides, so it might die, but it would do some pretty heavy damage. It's got, Sensei's major plus 40% attack bonus, and it has plus 50% total defense this turn, from CO power and mountain, so cost effective at least. I do need to get more walls in place next turn, so another tank and another mech should do the job pretty well. I think that's good. Let me just check if there's anything else that I've forgotten to do before I end my turn. Okay, Adder, what have you got? My defenses are not perfect here. I did kind of take a risk and make a mistake maybe putting that mech up onto the mountain, but it'll be okay. So he makes his approach and he's clustering himself in, which will make for ideal missile targeting next turn. Just as I had planned. Because I killed off his tank instead of leaving him with an injured one, he can bring up a fresh one and do some pretty heavy damage to my tank. That doesn't really matter though, it'll be fine either way, and he continues to just crowd more guys in. He wounds the infantry, but he can't kill it, so that's just fine with me. Likewise, his MD tank can't kill this infantry, even though it's at 9 HP, so he really has to waste a big unit's turn attacking a free guy that I spawned. And in exchange, he gets blasted by my artillery. Intriguing, he's not going all out against my mech. Well, that's great, I got to have my cake and eat it too then. Looks like the presence of that mech even distracted one of his artillery, so that's even better for me. Time to launch some missiles. He has clustered just about everybody into one tiny area, so exactly as I would like. A perfect setup for me. Wow, I just want to marvel this area. This is really perfect. I don't know when I've had a more effective missile silo than that. Very satisfying. So, what to do with my second missile? I could of course hit the exact same glorious area again. Or could target his tank on the left that's currently at full health, but I have a fresh tank to bring in to fight that, so I don't think I need to do that. Just checking rocket range over here to make sure I don't get shot at. I could also launch a missile at his east side group to block him from breaking through and damage his rocket. That could be worth it. I'll think about that. While I think about that, I can start making the obvious moves of getting bombers in, and maybe capturing that airport. Very helpful if you're not going to win as fast as I am. You'll notice that he is now helpless against my air units on the main front. His anti-aircraft gun is down. He has one missile, but those are useless. I mean, good luck with that, man. Most of my bombers can't be attacking anything this turn, but one of them can just fly right in and attack his mech and blow it away. Unless I roll absolutely minimum luck, that should instant kill it. There we go. So really, I just need to hold the line for one more turn. Then my bombers will be all over him and he's toast. Maybe I'll have my T-copter position itself to help ferry that slow-moving mech around. I don't really have anything better for it to do after all. I don't think I mentioned it before, by the way, but the speed limit for this mission is 12 turns, which is tight but doable if you do things the slow way. So the south front no longer really matters at all, except for me getting to a missile and not letting him do it. So it's a real question whether I should bother attacking him or not. It'll fill up both of our CO power gauges. And it does mean there'll be less clutter getting between me and the missile, potentially. I think I'll skip the southeast airport and use that T-copter to get to the missile silo instead. I have an easy chance this turn to just shoot on their mech with my battlecopter. So now he can't get the missile, and I just need to clear out his guard so that I can. So what I need to think about now is, if Adder got bonus movement, what could he do with it? He could get some infantry over the mountains a little bit faster, but that doesn't matter very much. I don't have any vulnerable guys there. Most of his troops are already in position. The extra movement wouldn't really change things for them. On the main front, he's just kind of stymied at the choke points. Oh, I misclicked there. That is a problem. I didn't mean to attack at all there, let alone waste my shot on the infantry. Now I think that has forced my hand and I must launch my remaining missile at that right front. Otherwise, his uninjured rocket and NB tank could break through my wall too easily. I regret that very much. Hopefully, this will reduce him to 3 HP, in which case he won't retreat. Nope, reduce him to 2, so he will pull back. Which will make way for his fresh MD tank, so that's bad for me. Well, whatever. My strategy here is so effective that even that misclick won't really stop me. Might cost me a day or something, though. Well, I'll shuffle the defenders in the west, and then that'll make room for my fresh tank to drive up and attack his tank, with terrain bonuses. The problem is, because I couldn't use my other missile over there, he has a 7 HP artillery pointed at my fresh tank now. So I think I need to adapt by joining these tanks together, so that he can't break through my line. And then I can shift the mech over to the city, and that should still block him. His CO power would let his mech walk forward further and attack me, so to prevent that, I'll drive up and bomb his MD tank. That will force him to save up for his superpower instead, so I guess I am now committed because of that previous misclick to fighting in the southeast, but that's okay, I guess. That should get him well over the CO power minimum, which will I think force the AI to save for the super, and therefore not use anything this turn. I guess I could leave his recon on the loose here. It doesn't really matter very much, and that would allow my helicopters free reign to charge to the east instead and finish off his missile defenders. So, the northeast front. I could just cross my fingers and attack his tank and hope for good luck bonuses. I could instead skip the fighting and just go for captures, but he's blocking most of the useful buildings and it wouldn't really matter much anyway. Really, this front has served its purpose by giving me those missiles already. But I think just for bragging rights and fun, I'm going to avoid losing any units whatsoever on this mission if I can. So I'll keep all these guys alive by killing off the guys between them and joining the injured one up. If I just take out this rocket, it can't hurt anybody, and then the tank can't finish anybody off because they'll all be at 9 HP or 10. Just double checking, he's close to his superpower, but he's not going to get it, and he can't kill anything either. This T-copter really has pretty much nothing to do. I guess I can just fly it in and hope it can maybe block something useful in a future turn. We'll see. I think a rocket over here in the west could be quite handy for taking out his artillery, or things like that. And there I end my turn. Well, we'll see if he can capitalize on my misclick blunder. So that's expected. He can weaken that tank with his artillery, but he shouldn't be able to finish it off with his injured one. So I can still hold the line for the crucial one more turn. So if he's smart on the eastern passage, he'll pull his 2 HP MD tank back, blast away with his rocket, and finish me off with his full HP MD tank. Or at least critically damage me. Wouldn't have been an option for him if it wasn't for that misclick, but whatever, it'll be okay. Okay, he kind of keeps himself blocked with his mob of units, so that's great for me. He retreats to get healed, he builds an anti-aircraft gun, which is smart, but it won't be sufficient against all these bombers coming in. Especially because I have one more missile I can launch at him, potentially in the future, so I can use that to soften up an anti-aircraft gun to then allow a bomber to easily kill it in one shot. Very interesting. On the east, he wasted both his MD tank's turns doing a join instead of actually fighting me. So because of AI stupidity, that missile launch ended up being very helpful there, actually. Strange how that works out. Alright, let me think about what to do on all the different fronts now. Such a fun chapter, really requiring a lot of forethought like that. Well, first of all, if I attack this missile, I'll be giving him his superpower, but that's well worth it, I think. It'll give my battlecopters a free hand over there to take out his rocket and other things that are guarding the missile silo. I could use my power now to get better bonuses on my battlecopters. Wouldn't make a big difference, and it wouldn't really solve the problem that I have in the northeastern front where that tank is slowly chewing up my guys. I think I'll just save for my superpower at this point, but it doesn't really matter much either way. Looking things over, I don't think that I'll be able to use the 10% generic defense bonus either this turn, so it's not really worth using my CO power. Just not enough things that actually would benefit from it. Looking over his main front anti-air defenses, he actually positioned his guys really well. There is no blind spot to attack the anti-aircraft from, the missile protects it on all sides. So I can't just fly in there and blow him up, I need to bring in more guys before I can attack everything at once. I guess I could use my CO power to get that plus 10% defense bonus and just take the shot with the missile against my bomber, and survive at 1 HP. I don't think I'll do that though. I'm pondering the best west side defenses to do. If I was going to use my CO power, I'd want to have my cities unblocked to produce more free infantry. I think the best use of my mech is just to walk over and shoot their mech and cripple it so it can't keep sneaking around my sides of my defenses and flanking me. And that would allow me to generate another free infantry wall if I wanted to. But I think I might have another walling option I should think about, because I can't attack the mini cannons this turn anyway. Let me check what the range of his anti-air would be during his superpower, because he'll definitely be using that this upcoming turn, so it'll be 2 larger. I need to think about the mini cannons too. So it is safe then for me to just run up my bomber, blow up his MD tank, and clear a path for my MD tank to run through and wreck his rocket. What a play. Even with my sensei attack penalties, if I have good luck, I should be able to instant kill this rocket. Yeah, it's possible, alright. I'll just need a good luck roll. No, it didn't get the good luck. That could be a problem. We'll see. I am 2 stars away from my own superpower. To fill that up will actually require me to take about 22,000 damage rather than the 18,000 you might be expecting. As usual, of course, me doing damage to him counts as half credit toward that, for filling up those stars. The stars cost 20% more every time you use your CO power, so that's why it cost me 22,000 now rather than 18,000. I was thinking about taking out his injured tank, but I think I'd rather leave that alive because it's so ineffective. So instead I'll just kill off his APC and reduce his ability to clutter things up by dropping off mechs or whatnot. I don't want to have obstructions preventing my planes from flying around on future turns, and I have no idea where he plans to drop that guy off. Even with his superpower, he can't possibly attack me here because of the mountains, so I'm safe to use this bomber to just blast away and finish him off. And that should leave me in a good position next turn to threaten to destroy all 3 of his mini cannons, potentially. I want to win the game on turn 6 if I can. That's my record. So again, I'm checking what his movement range on the anti-air is, and the answer is it's still pretty bad even on the western side, because there's so much terrain in his way. So let's see, is it safe to fly over here? What can he do about it? Well, he can't mini cannon me. He can't break through, so he can't really get to me. So yeah, this is a safe move. Great. See, what I'm going to do is I'm not going to use my CO power. I'm going to wall him out with my bombers, because he can't even attack those. They're invincible. So I've cleared a path now for another bomber to fly in and block him off and blow up more stuff at the same time. Just triple checking that he still can't do a thing about this. Yep, now he is completely blocked. He can't do a thing to these units. You can't just walk under an enemy plane. It's impossible. They are impenetrable walls. Dreadfully expensive, but extremely effective walls. I'll just pull the injured defenders back to safety. They've done a very good job. And now I don't even need to put a person into artillery range. I can just fly a T-copter in there and drop the mech on the south side where it's totally safe. I guess he can ping my T-copter for 1 damage. I don't care. With his superpower, his infantry and mechs can run over the mountains, but that won't really matter to me either. If you're playing defense, capturing this airport is a big deal. Being able to deploy extra bombers so close to the front is very effective and very satisfying to do. If I move these infantry off of the cities, I can spawn more guys there on future turns. So I'm still pondering, is there a way to get my superpower this turn? I'm increasingly sure that the answer is no, there's not. Can he defend that square of plains that's in range to walk the infantry onto the silo next turn? The answer seems to be no. So I can just go right ahead, fly my infantry in there, drop him off, and shoot the missile next turn. He's welcome to ping that infantry for minor damage with his tank if he wants to. All that matters is I can clear a path to the missile silo next turn. I guess I might as well just have my bomber blast away at his recon so I can't threaten any infantry. Doesn't really matter, once again. Might set me up for a really good power turn next turn or something like that. And it'll make it easier to go for that perfect, no deaths outcome that I'm hoping for right now. As you can see, I have lost 0 guys in this tough mission, so that's very fun. I'm going to keep it that way. On the northeastern front, to maintain that, I'm going to just join my guys up once again so we can't kill even one of them. Your whole bomb ploy is coming to nothing out of. Not even one of us gets killed. I'll go for my luck shots here, just attacking his MD tank. That worked pretty well. 2 more attacks should do to finish him off, but he'll probably try to just retreat because he's so injured now. I wonder if I can use this T-copter as useful bait in any way. Maybe to fill up my superpower gauge by having him shoot at it or something like that. We'll see. Not much else I could be doing. Well, nothing really that I need to buy, so I'll just end my turn here, I think. See how his turn goes. You know, his mini-cannons and his own rough terrain are really blocking him in pretty badly. Even with his superpower, his anti-air just can't get to me. Its presence is slowing me down though. I couldn't just charge my bombers in because he had built it and it was covered by his missile. So he did a good job there, actually. I think I can just wipe out all his mini-cannons next turn though. We'll see. Ah, that was an imperfection on my part. I didn't think about that Neo-tank running the other way. But a 3 HP MD tank is still good enough to help out a bomber that wants to knock out a mini-cannon. The bomber can do 95% damage, and a 3 HP MD tank is easily enough to do the remaining 5%. At the very least, he has definitely given me my superpower by doing that attack. I really haven't managed to do anything to this tank so far. But it's not a big surprise. He's mostly getting shot at by people who are already injured and therefore don't have a high luck maximum. He continues to crowd in very foolishly. As I hoped, the T-copter worked as a distraction for his infantry. And I guess he's lost too many infantry himself, so he built himself a mech. Completely useless. I won't be able to use this new airport before I win, but that's fine. Now to make sure I get maximum value for my superpower, I want to make sure that I'm not standing on any of my own cities. That would block the new mechs from spawning. I don't want that. Okay, I'll run that guy off the city, and then I'm good to activate my superpower. Cool stuff. How am I doing on power anyway? Looks like I need to have killed at least 5 guys to get a perfect score here. I think I have, but I can guarantee it anyway. Though, come to think of it, my bombers and whatnot will all be occupied just going for the mini-cannons this turn. But on consideration, yeah, I'm certain I got at least 5 units killed in one of these turns previously, so I'm already good on power. You know, this whole front is unimportant. Let me just see if I can win by killing off the mini cannons. Can I wipe out all 3 mini cannons right now this turn? If so, I win. So easily, 2 bombers could get to and wipe out that left one. A bomber and a battlecopter could go wipe out that middle one, no problem. Do I have a way to take out the right one without sacrificing those 2 previous objectives? That is the question. It's no good charging in and killing 2 of them but not finishing off the 3rd, and then giving him a strong turn to kill a bunch of my guys off. I'm thinking that it might be impossible. Let me consider more carefully. So, a bomber and pretty much anything else can successfully take out a mini cannon. I've got 1 spare bomber, 1 battlecopter, and the MD tank. I don't think I have any other copters or anything else in reach that can attack his mini cannons. The problem is that I'm blocked in on the east. My MD tank can't move forward past his injured rocket. Now, what if I blew up the Neo tank? Would that allow my tank to reach the mini cannon? I don't think it would. No, I am several spaces off. Okay. I think I need to wait a turn, which is unfortunate. 6 turns is my record, and I could have tied that here. Well, if I can't get to the mini cannons, can I get to and ruin his missile and anti-air so I have nothing to worry about next turn? Let me think just one more time about whether there's a way to break through in the east. If I was to launch a missile, could I then break through in any way? It can't kill off the rocket, of course. Could I missile the Neo tank low enough that my tank could finish it off and allow the MD tank to go through? I don't think so. Tank damage is not high enough, not on Sensei, not even with maximum luck. If I had 2 missiles I could do it. Or if I just had 1 extra battlecopter here. I could have done it if I had just diverted 1 more battlecopter from the silly southeastern front to have it here instead. Well, what I should do then is just make sure that his missile is useless. I want to make his anti-air instant killable if I can. No sense in firing at the cluster of unimportant ground units that aren't really doing anything to me anymore. So I just need to make sure that I'm all set up so that I can't be delayed another turn no matter what happens. I don't think I've ever made that kind of mistake and got myself blocked in like that. I could have solved it with 1 more B-copter. I could have solved it if I just had the artillery that I had nearby just run up right into rocket range. That would have worked too. Oh well, I'm still set to beat the mission in about half of the speed limit time, so that's still pretty great. Maybe I'll just focus on overkilling my power score instead. I've killed, what, 4 now this turn, I think? So, what I want is to break through on this western side faster, so that I can either get bombers into places where the missile can't shoot me, or best of all, where my bombers can shoot their missile directly. So this bomber could go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, bam. So can I break down this obstruction? No, I don't think I can do it. Not without putting somebody else in mini cannon range, and there's no sense in doing that. Of course, the 9 HP bomber can just kill the MD tank itself, but then it of course is stuck in place, and the one next to it I don't think can reach. It'll be 1 space off. Yeah, I'm just not quite ideally positioned here. Not that it matters. I've just been focused, of course, on winning this turn, as I thought was possible previously. Well, I might as well fly over here and take out his rocket. Just for glory at this point. Safely inside the missile's minimum range, of course. Those things are so bad. Days of Ruin finally gave them a much needed buff, giving them 2 to 6 space firing range, so much better. Well, although I could go for even more kills, I think I'm not going to do that because that would risk me allowing one of his MD tanks to charge through and maybe kill off one of my guys and spoil my perfect not 1 casualty run here. Let me not do that. I'll just crowd in healthy units who he can't kill off, I think. And I can block him in now with a battlecopter. I'll drive up that eastern tank, so that even if somehow I get blocked up, I can still help somebody else finish off a mini cannon this time. This teacopter has served its purpose. I'll just fly it back out of range. Now, how many guys do I have? 47. I wonder if I can get to the unit cap for fun. The unit cap is 50 guys, but I joined either 2 or 3 people so far this mission. That doesn't get reflected in the status screen. So again, I'm not really being efficient here, I'm just going for things that are funny. Killing a huge number of his units in one turn. To make sure he can't injure my guy who's going for the missile, I guess I do need to take out his indirects here with my helicopters. Can't take out the rocket, but I can at least take out his injured MD tank, I'm sure. This doesn't matter anymore. This also doesn't matter. Well, I will go for one more superfluous kill and take out his tank with my 2 newly spawned mechs. I won't bother capturing that base. I'm trying to do less of the pointless stuff at the end. So now what I'm wondering is, did I join 2 units or 3 units so far this mission? If it's 2, then I can hit the unit cap. If it's 3, then I actually can't. Although I could have if I hadn't skipped production on one of those previous turns. So I take a little bit of tiny expected damage, doesn't make a bit of a difference. Poor guy just still can't break through. Short turn, Adder. I think my repair phase took about as long as his entire turn did. 1 new guy. 2. 3. Puts me at 51 with a max of either 52 or 53. Not sure which. As a post-commentary note, it was 53 max because I had to join up those 2 tanks that I'd forgotten about at one point. Well, with all that silliness taken care of, let me just start flying up and blowing up his mini-cannons. Again, if we were Kanbei, the whole mission would be much easier. The bombers could instant kill the pipes, they could instant kill the mini-cannons, we would have won long ago. So even on this mission that's designed to play to Sensei's strengths, Kanbei would still be better. It is fun, though, to be able to pop troops out of nowhere on that northeastern corner and just start going for missiles all of a sudden. And that's that. Oh, there's a mistake alright, Adder. Kind of like Sensei there. And Adder's silly, making literal snake noises as he runs away, apparently. What a goofy character. Well, a phenomenal run of that chapter there. I used about half of the allowed time, I lost not even a single unit out of the maximum number deployed, and I wiped out about twice as many of his in one turn as I needed to get maximum power. Pretty sweet, I think. One of the game's best and most unique missions right there, I think. It's even fun to play it the intended way, where you just kind of hold the line while your bombers slowly come through. As you can see, we've unlocked the next factory mission, so I could skip the other 2 Yellow Comet missions if I wanted to, but of course I won't be doing that. As I said before, they're quite unique puzzle missions. I'm looking forward to both of them, one more than the other. I do applaud their creativity and level design. I think it's the best in the series. With that, have a great day, everyone.